I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Man, it's been so long. It's been so long. All my hair is gone. I used to wear it low. Now I don't have any hair. But Still City Sports World's back live 6 o'clock. I'm so happy to be here. Great job with the studio. I have to give PCTV and everybody involved a hand. Studio is excellent. So happy to be back. Again, we got Mike Migliore, Claudio Rosano, and we got Smoking Jim Frazier. Great show. We got Pirates Talk, we got Steelers Talk, and we have your call. So make sure you call us 412-231-2288. We got our Steel City News, and of course we have to turn it over to Mike. Mike, it's been a long time. I know you have a lot to say. What do you have on your mind?
Well, today on my mind, Major League Baseball All-Star Team. Next week's the All-Star Game. And 4 of your Pittsburgh Pirates are going to the All-Star, but 1 is not. Francisco Cervelli has the highest batting average at the time the selection was made, the highest batting average of all catchers in the league, and he was overlooked. The fans voted in Buster Posey, and the coaches' selections were Yadier Molina and Yasmani Grandal from the Dodgers. Why this happened, I don't know, but Cervelli was definitely deserving of the position, and he didn't get it.
Well, it's a popularity contest. Maybe a couple more years, maybe he'll get it next time. But, those two guys definitely have the name recognition. But he's having a great season. So, we'll see. I would have liked to see Marte. Maybe next year Marte could take that next step and get in there. But he's really been holding it down. Claudia, what do you have for us?
Years ago, Eddie Murphy did a stand-up routine, and he said, if you haven't eaten in months and somebody gives you a Ritz cracker, you say, damn, that was the best food I ever had. Well, the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight, which people are still talking about, it was the fight of the century. Well, yeah, it was the fight of the century because there's nothing else out there, unfortunately. And as a lot of you guys know, I'm a huge boxing fan, and would that fight have carried water years ago? I don't think so. And as far as Mayweather, how great he isn't, I think for the time, for his era, yeah, he's probably the best in his era. But compare him to the days gone by, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Roberto Durans, the Haglers, and the Hearns. I don't think he'd have stood a chance against any of those guys. But as far as the fight itself was concerned, I mean, I wasn't going to pay $100 and some for it. A friend of mine did. I went and watched it. It was anticlimactic. I mean, of course, that's what you're going to get with Mayweather. He's not going to go in there and stand and brawl. That's his style, is to get in and get out, and that's what he did. Pacquiao, I always thought was overrated, but unfortunately, that was the big fight. That was the target. That was the crossover fight, and unfortunately, I don't see anything else anywhere near getting that kind of attention anymore in boxing for a lot of years to come. Unless Mayweather fights Triple G or somebody like that, I don't see it.
Yeah, stick and move is that he's taking that to a whole nother level with Mayweather. Still the best of my generation.
Yeah.
But as far as the greats, I agree with you. I think I've seen better. Hey, but Smoking Jim, it's on you. Oh, let me put the disclaimer out there. It's been a while, so I know he probably has tons of material. We have to put a disclaimer out there. The words you're about to hear represent Smoking Jim alone. It doesn't reflect my thinking, Mike's, or Claudio's. That being said, Smoking Jim, it's all yours.
Hey, thanks, Lou. I appreciate it. Hey, big hand for the USA women's soccer. Won the gold medal at the World Cup again. And I always say anything a man can do, a woman can do better. Listen, the best basketball teams aren't Duke, Kentucky, or UCLA. The best team is UConn women. They won 10 national championships since the year 2000, but the WNBA don't make the money of the NBA. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't the best football team. The best football team is the undefeated, reigning, defending, undisputed world champion Pittsburgh Passion women's football, but their top players are not making millions like the NFL. In fact, they don't get paid at all. They have to pay to play. The best boxer of all time is not Mike Tyson or even Larry Holmes. It's Layla Ali, 24-0 with 21 knockouts, but she didn't make millions of dollars like Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao. Listen, the Pitt basketball coach, Susie McConnell-Serio, when she was a high school player at Seton LaSalle, she won a state championship. She was an All-American at Penn State. She was an Olympic gold medalist. As a player and professional player, she was a WNBA All-Star. As a professional coach, she was WNBA Coach of the Year, 5-time WPIL, and 3-time state championship coach for Oakland Catholic. She was the Dapper Dan Sportswoman of the Year twice. She's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. If Susie McConnell-Serio was a man, there'd be a statue in her honor somewhere. In this country, there's equality for the white man. There's equality for the black man. There's equality for the red man. There's equality for the yellow man. There's equality for the gay man. How about a little equality for the woman?
All right, Smoker Jim, that wasn't as bad as usual. I might have not had to put the disclaimer out there for you on that one, but all right, your point taken. A lot of things that we haven't talked about. It's been so long. One thing, we had the NBA draft recently. Nothing makes me more upset than seeing all these guys from other countries averaging 5 points, 3 points, and they get drafted in the top 10. This Kristaps Porzingis from
Say it again.
overseas.
What's his name
I'm
again?
not saying it again because I think I almost messed it up.
And you won't be hearing much about him anyways.
You won't be hearing much about him, but he went number 4 overall. He had his first practice yesterday, already got hurt. They already had Andre Briani on the team. They just brought his little brother up, basically. That guy was the number 1 pick, never panned out. So what does New York and Phil Jackson do? They go out and go grab another one. Terrible pick. I hate seeing these guys come over in the top 10 when they don't even average more than 10 points over in a weak European league. Let them go as free agents. They're already pros. Why can't they just, go as free agents? If you want to pay them, go ahead and pay them. But instead of them taking a roster spot from somebody else from getting drafted, and these guys are getting bad advice. I look at the Harrison twins for Kentucky. They played 2 years. They definitely should have stayed another year. The one, Andrew, he got drafted in the 2nd round with Phoenix. The other one didn't even get drafted.
Wow.
Both of those guys are going to be in the league, but because they didn't get drafted, that's going to, mess up their income for years and years to come. Sometimes you never make up that money. So that's one thing I'm disappointed about. Another thing, and I'm glad we're back on the air, some of these reporters, man, they are the biggest whiners, and Mike always brings it up. What do you say about the newspaper writers, Mike?
There's nothing dumber than a sports writer.
Exactly. I mean, the NBA finals were on, and you had Steph Curry. He brought his daughter up. She's a star. And you had these guys whining and crying and complaining because they couldn't write their story because she was, doing what 2-year-olds do. That was the biggest. This is Brian Windhorst. He owes his own career to LeBron James. He just happened to be a reporter in Akron when
Right
LeBron
place,
James
right
was born.
time.
Right, exactly. And he's sitting there crying that he couldn't write his story because Riley was at the mic singing. Come on, guys, get a life. You're writing a sports article. Any one of us up here can do it. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult. There's a 2-year-old running around the room. That's not in your way or anything. You can't get your tape recorder and get what Steph Curry's saying. It's all scripted anyway. You don't get anything real unless you talk to J.J. Redick, who gave his Clippers an F for losing DeAndre Jordan. But then we hear Jordan's having second thoughts, and he may end up going back to the Clippers. Right. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but a whole lot is going on. What do you guys think? What's been going on? 412-231-2288. One thing we have to talk about is the All-Star game. Mike mentioned it earlier. And we have some clips of the Pirates. Can we run those clips? Claudia, you're the expert. You're the baseball coach up here. Pirates' chances. They have a big series coming up with St. Louis. What are we looking forward to?
I definitely think they have a chance to go the whole way. I really do. I think that I keep saying the same thing. I don't think there's any one team. You guys tell me which team that you can put your stamp on and say that's the dominant team. And if you think about it, the Pirates are, I believe, 49-34, and there's some guys like Polanco who's not having anywhere near the season that I think he will.
He had a big hit last night.
He had a big hit last night. You never know when Alvarez is going to get hot.
No.
He'll get unhot again, but he'll get hot. And Liriano is 5-6. Locke is up and down. So even though they have a good record and they're only a few games out of first place, they're nowhere near being, I think, what they could be. So I think it's definitely an exciting time. The bullpen, the way they use it, has been good. Again, I don't think that nobody has peaked. Even McCutchen, he just hit 300. He just broke 300 yesterday, I believe. And I think he's going to start to catch even more. Cervelli, I think he's been an unbelievable pickup. I mean, everybody thought when Martin was gone, not only it was going to hurt him offensively, but defensively. And with the pitch calling, and Cervelli's been unbelievably. That was a great pickup.
That was great. Definitely great pickup.
Yeah.
And
So-
the pitching has held us up. But see, as we talked about earlier, Claudia, I don't like the lineup. You know, I think they're feasting off a lot of the bottom feeders, but when they go up against the better teams,
But again,
they don't have enough.
You're right in theory, but are the better teams really that much better? That's my opinion. I've said that before. I'm just, some people say, oh, you're too critical of today's teams. Well, I'm just being honest, or what my opinion is. I don't think that the gap between the first place team and the third or fourth place team is really that huge anymore, like it used to be.
That's true. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, they're right in the mix. Cardinals 54-30. Yeah. They have a big series coming up before the All-Star break, so hopefully they can, make some ground. But
that's my team.
St. Louis, of course, a big surprise there. Mike, what do you think? I mean, you think they need to make that trade? I heard Votto is possible, and maybe a couple other names were bandied about. I think they need that one more bat to get them over the hump.
Naturally, another bat couldn't hurt. I think that their platoon at first base leaves a little bit to be desired. Alvarez is
Alvarez.
He's he's streaky, and he gets some decent hits now and then. But overall, he's not a first baseman. Rodriguez is a nice substitute now and then, but he's not going to carry the show either. I think that if they could pick up a first baseman, maybe a left-handed first baseman with some power, that'd be pretty good acquisition. I think that they're going to have problems with St. Louis. I don't think they're going to be able to catch them. But if they can keep in the wild card spot, that's going to be probably what they're looking for this year.
Right.
Go Cubs.
I was hoping that the Cardinals would cool off, but man, even with injuries, they just keep plowing along.
Well, that's a good organization.
That organization is just
they're a great
top of the
organization.
line.
They've been consistent for years, and they just do a great job. They know when to plug in a piece, and they're just a great organization. And Jim's talking about the Cubs. Again, hiring Joe Madden, I think, in my opinion, he's the best X and O's manager in the game. Without question.
Words out my mouth.
When it was, he's been that way for years. I'm a huge Ozzie Guillen fan, although he's not coaching anymore. He was big time X and O guy. Sosha. Right now, I think Joe Madden does things. He goes against the book. He doesn't do things like you're supposed to do. He doesn't coach a bunch of robots, and the players like playing for him. And I wouldn't count the Cubs out either.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the Cubs are right on the Pirates' tails. 46-37. They're right there. Smoking Germany went away, and baseball is the one where you throw the little white ball.
Well, like I said, I'm always mad at the Pirates because you can't find power like Alvarez anywhere. This is a guy that led the National League in home runs a few short years ago. I put him in the cleanup spot. Nothing against Walker, who I would re-sign. I like Walker, but 4 or 5 home runs, he's not a cleanup hitter. And I think Alvarez would see better pitching. The Pittsburgh Pirates is outstanding, but I'm a traditionalist when it comes to baseball. I don't count wild cards as going to the playoffs. They didn't have wild cards until recently, a couple, a few years back, they got wild cards. So the Pittsburgh Pirates making the playoffs as a wild card, to me, they're not making the playoffs. They're not going to catch St. Louis, like Claudio said, outstanding organization. I look for the Pirates pitchers to start falling apart in the second half of the season. I like Garrett Cole, but Garrett Cole only has 2 pitches, a fastball and a slider. I think the better teams will catch up against him.
I'm going to say this. And Luther told me to say this before the show, and I said, no, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. I'm not wishing it on him, just my opinion. He has, 12 wins?
12 wins.
I'm predicting.
Leading the league.
Not that I'm wishing it, so relax. I just think he's going to get about 16 wins. It's just my
So you're saying the rest, he's going to have 4 more wins.
This is not scripted. We didn't talk before the show.
I'm bad with predictions. I'm just saying.
Don't be hating on this side of the room. We got our opinions.
The young bull, Cole, is just going to keep mowing down.
I hope he does.
I mean, he's our ace. If he goes down, we have no chance.
I hope he does. I'm just saying.
He's your ace. Who was the opening day pitcher?
Garrett Cole is the ace.
Who was the opening day pitcher?
That means
500
nothing, Jim.
Larry
That
Arnold.
means nothing. That means
500
nothing.
Larry
The ace
Arnold.
is Cole. He's improved. He's healthy this year, and you're seeing, one of the top pitchers in baseball. Hopefully they can keep it up.
Didn't they
But I
have a
still
pitcher
think they
named
need
Duke at one time?
Oh,
That
man,
was
you're
the
going
ace.
ancient.
Neil Heaton.
Zach Duke.
Neil Heaton's another. That's what. 1 year, I believe, he won like 11 games to the All-Star game. People thought
Don't compare.
he's going to bring.
Ho. We're getting
I'm
way
just
off.
saying.
You cannot
I'm just
compare a
saying.
Garrett Cole to those guys. Those were flash in the pans.
All right.
We're looking at a young stud.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's got the ability. It's
see.
just one of those gut feelings.
Okay.
That's all.
Hey, you know what? Another thing that happened this offseason, my cousin, Elvin Bud Dupree, got drafted. We finally got a Dupree on the Steelers. Got a couple clips. Jim, I know you're a expert in draft and everything. What do you think about him as we look at some of these clips?
Out of all the players and all the positions in this draft, he was my #1 ranked player of any position. That was an absolute steal. I don't like the Pittsburgh putting him at left outside linebacker
Where they gonna
when they
put
got a
him?
bum at right outside linebacker by the name of Jarvis Too Slow Jones. But other than that, Elvis Bud Dupree was a steal of the draft. I love that kid.
Yeah, he's big, he's fast, he's physical, and not only this, they used to drop him back in coverage, so he has skills at that. I mean, man.
He's your cousin for real? If he does well, he's your cousin.
He's my cousin. When he's getting 4 sacks, yes.
He's your cousin.
Hey, he's invited over to dinner Sunday. As soon as they get here for camp. But I mean, he's just a beast. He's fast. He's strong. We'll see. Mike, what do you think about Dupree? Were you satisfied with that pick?
Absolutely. I think Jim was right. He's probably one of the better players in the draft that was available. I think it was a really good pick for them. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do at cornerback, but they picked up a need with Dupree.
Well, you know what? Speaking, as we watch some more of these plays, I always believe if you get good pressure on a corner, on a quarterback, the corners look real good.
Exactly.
We've won Super Bowls with some pretty average corners at best back there. Plenty of times. In 2008, we didn't have any Pro Bowlers back there. We won a couple with Ike. Not that Ike was bad, but he was just average.
I think that's a great point.
You know what I mean? So if we put pressure on her, you don't have to cover for 10 seconds.
Ike was a shutdown quarterback.
Ike was a good average quarterback who played well in our system.
Ask Chad Johnson what Ike was like.
Okay. If he's a shutdown, that means he's going to the Hall of Fame. Is he going to the Hall of
He
Fame?
can't catch.
No, he's not.
He couldn't catch.
No, he's not. So he's not a shutdown quarter. I've seen him be burnt toast more than a little bit, Smoking Jim, and you've been critical of him. I know that's your buddy. I know you're helping him rebuild some things down in New Orleans, but he was an average quarterback. So we'll see. I think it was overall a good draft for the Steelers. I think he's going to help. Jarvis Jones, this is make or break for him. He has done nothing but disappoint the first 2 years. I'm not giving up on him.
Jim's ready to cut him.
Jim was ready to cut him when they drafted him.
Yeah, the day they drafted him.
I'll give you that. You said
Almost threw my steak back.
You said he was going to be a bust, and so far you're looking real good right now. I'm still giving him another chance. But we had some other guys get drafted. We said cornerback. They got a cornerback, not tall. He's probably
5'8".
He's probably my height, but he can play. He has great ball skills. Hey, let's run the next set of clips, and go through this draft, Smoke and Gentlemen, guys. Of course, we got Dupree, man. That's going to look great on a Steeler jersey, man. I thought, growing up, it was going to be me, but my cousin's there. It's good. But what do you think about our corner that we drafted, Smoking Jim?
Outstanding. I talked to him on draft day, and he told me that when he was 17 years old, he turned down $1 million check to play professional baseball. He got drafted, and I told him he should have took that check because he ain't going to see $1 million in 4 years in his NFL contract. But
look at those hands.
Outstanding guy, man. And but like I said, all of our cornerbacks are 5'9" and under.
But if you can play, you can play. Not everybody could be a Richard Sherman.
All of them were 5'9" and
Not
under.
everybody could be, and some of the taller ones we had. Well, Cortez Allen, he's one of the taller ones. He might be our worst one. I don't go by size, I go by ball skills.
This kid's a player.
That's my
Look at this
compliment.
guy. I mean, he may be 5'9". He hits hard. Look at that.
I like him.
Oh, he got some heart too.
He has
which
some
is what I
heart.
like.
He
I
hands.
like him. I don't like the rest of our 5'9" corners.
He makes plays. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going by height, smoking Jim.
like
You know,
him.
but he's good. He's good with the ball. You know, he had,
Great
what he had
feet.
12 interceptions last year.
No, not last year.
Well,
in his career.
In his career. But
Got good hands and great feet.
that's
Good
what you
My
need.
pick is the interception guy. I picked Holloman from Louisville in the 7th round. He should have been a first-round pick. He led the NCAA and set a record with 14 interceptions in one season, won the Jim Thorpe Award. That was a steal of the draft. Get ready, Mitchell. I hope you're working out
Hold on, Jim. He had 10 interceptions last year. This
Who?
is saying Cass Golden. 10 interceptions in 2014.
That ain't 12.
It's not 12, but it's close enough. What about this guy, Sammy Coates? Big guy.
That's the first time I seen him catch one.
What? Hey, when you got Nick, hold on. When you got Nick Marshall throwing to you,
Is that Lyman Sweet?
that's like having Le'Veon Bell throwing passes
But they
to
didn't
you.
need. What was the one position the Steelers did not need to draft?
Hey, but when a guy's
Receiver.
this
Third
good,
round?
when he's this good, you gotta get him. What about Grant? What about Grant from Ohio State?
I love the physicalness. He's a physical guy. Going to be great on special teams. Outstanding.
You think
Hopefully, the new defensive coordinator Jethro Bodine will be able to use him correctly.
All right.
And Butler.
Of course, we. What about the tight end? We've been looking at a tight end, big boy from
man.
Penn State.
Wow, whoever thought a South Allegheny player would make it to the NFL?
Jesse James, big guy.
Love him.
So
Great
we'll
name.
see. You know, Pat Moreau was out there. He got coached up a little bit by then.
congratulations,
So, you know, we'll see. I mean, so overall, what would you give the draft?
I gave the draft a high D+. I
Dang.
put it in the newspaper, it was D+. As usual, the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know, they drafted, like I said, I had to mark them down for drafting wide receiver in the 3rd round. They had many needs drafting wide receiver in the 3rd round. I tell you what, a guy that I do like is going to be the steal of the draft is a white kid, reminds me of Kevin Green, a guy from the University of Miami, Chicakello.
Okay.
Italian guy.
Yeah, I tell you what,
Anthony
he's a beast.
Chicakello, yeah.
He's a beast. He's a beast. But the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't do bad. It's one of the highest rating I gave them in the last 4 or 5 years, D+.
A D+. Oh, man. Claudio, Mike, weigh in on this. What do you think?
I say a C+. And I didn't mind him drafting that receiver in the 3rd round. If it was another guy, do you think he'd have been available a little bit later?
Well, the one thing, I want to see how many balls from the, what's that, the gun that they shoot the balls at, hits off as a face
He was
mask.
catching passes from Nick Marshall.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
going
let
to
me
be
see.
he's a cornerback at the next level.
I think
You
he's
see
going to
Auburn's
get spoiled.
offense?
Yeah, it's going to be a different ballgame when he comes
I would
in.
move
Exactly.
Coach the cornerback
Exactly.
right now.
People were questioning Martavius Bryant's hands before last year.
I mean,
if
you get a
remember
quarterback who
correctly.
puts it there.
Exactly.
It's a
He's
different
going with
world,
Big
different
Ben right
world.
now. He's not having Nick Marshall or one of a running back throwing him passes sideways.
His talent
has a
levels
real quarterback.
going to really come out big time with a quarterback.
He'll never dress this year.
Okay, well, hey. Okay, we're gonna put something more than that, Smoking Joe. Hey, we do have a caller. Caller, say your name where you're calling from.
Yes, this is LD from Point Break.
Hey, LD! What's going
I
on?
missed that.
You guys were talking about the Pirates. I think they're pretty tough. And one reason I say that, they have 3 starting pitchers who are real tough. Cole, Burnett, and Laureano.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other 2, Morton and Locke, they leave a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, you never know what
I
you're gonna
wouldn't
get.
start those 2 one after the other. I
That's
would
a good
change
point.
that around.
That's a good point, LD. Excellent point.
That's true because you have 2 weak pitchers going back to back. Yeah,
You don't know what you're going to get. You could get a 4-hitter with 7 strikeouts. They won't get out of the 4th. And I did forget to mention A.J. Burnett, which I do think I've been critical of. What's the GM's name again? Huntington.
Yeah.
But I got to say, the Cervelli pickup and signing Burnett were
Key.
2 huge pickups. And Burnett, like I said, I've always been a huge fan of his. So.
Brought
But that's
the
a
leader-
great
brought
point,
the-
LD.
Brought the leadership back, as you said last year, Smoking Joe.
And the
You
Mohawk.
and you still don't like them.
And the Mohawk.
Hey, LD, what else you got? Do you like their lineup, LD?
Yeah, I like the Pirate team as a whole because they're one of the best teams in baseball, quiet as it's kept. Number one, they can hit most of the time. They're a decent defensive team. They have a lot of speed. Plus, they have pitching and they have relief pitching.
LD, what would you do at shortstop? Would you keep Mercer or put Kang in?
I'd leave Mercer there because defensively he's been playing well, and lately he's been hitting. But I'd find somewhere to play that Kang.
Yeah.
You got to get the North Korean in there. Got to get him in there.
I'm with you. I've never been a fan of Mercer. I just haven't been. I'd be as a hitter. I mean, fielder, he's steady. But I like Kang's flash. I like his attitude.
He should get more time with Harrison being out with the ligament damage in his thumb. That's going to be big. He's not having a great
What happened with
great
Harrison?
year. Some ligament damage in his finger. He's going to be going about 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But
Sophomore
he's a
jinx.
guy that we're going to miss because he's one of those guys who gives it his all. He gets a lot of things started. He's not having the season he had last year, but he's like the heart and soul.
You
But
need a
we'll
guy
see.
like him. You need a guy
We'll
like
see
him.
if
But I would
Kang
definitely
can
put
keep
Kang
it
in
going.
there. Yeah. But no, LD made a great point. Putting Locke and Morton in there, I mean, that's a crapshoot each time.
Right.
Even though Liriano is 5 and 6, you know what you're going to get out of him most of the time. Cole and Burnett.
Like I said, he hasn't been getting the run support a lot of games either. Hey, LD, what else you got?
About Dupree, the linebacker. If he's a star, I'll be calling your show about him again. If he's not a star, you won't hear me mention his name again. But as far as the Steelers, I think they're going to be tough. Number one, they can score with anyone in the league. And defensively, they're going to be a lot faster in the defensive backfield, and that makes a world of difference.
Well, LD, there's not a quarterback in the league, including Johnny Manziel, the Steelers can hold under 300 yards passing. That's one. Here's what I think. I agree with you. I love the offense. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will improve from last year. But if this team can go 8-8 or 9-7, Mike Tomlin should get Coach of the Year. This is the toughest schedule I ever seen in NFL history, and I'm predicting. I'm going on record right now. Tom Brady will be the starting quarterback on that Thursday night opener, and he's going to put that shine on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And mentioning the schedule, I mean, last year, here's some of the quarterbacks that they faced. Brian Hoyer, Mike Glennon, I think.
Yeah.
Brian Bortles,
Yeah.
Mettenberg, Fitzpatrick, who I still don't know how he made the NFL. And then this year, they're going to go against Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, Luck, Manning. I mean, it's a different ball game. I mean, if they struggled with some of those guys last year, what are they going to do against the top-notch NFL quarterbacks?
I think
that's the big thing.
I'm calling 10 wins early. The schedule is definitely difficult, but they added a lot more talent. Offensively, they should average about 30 a game. Defensively, they're going to put more pressure on the quarterback. A healthy Ryan Shazier. You got Dupree on the one side, and I'm still giving Jones a chance.
Hey,
We're going to be faster, Smokey Jim.
Hey, LD.
Yeah.
I call Keith Butler Jeffro Bodine. If you spotted Keith Butler, the C and the T, he couldn't spell cat. Listen, this is a 60-year-old first-time defensive coordinator. By mid-season, they're going to see how much they missed Dick LeBeau. That was age discrimination they did with Dick LeBeau.
I think he's going to bring a new look. They're going to be blitzing more and just liven things up more on defense.
Exactly. He has a ton of experience. He got a ton of experience, Smoker Jim. Other teams wanted him, but he wanted to stay with the Steelers. Other teams tried to get him.
He's 60 years old.
Hey, Jim, you haven't even seen him call a play yet. You're already going after him. I think he's going to be fine.
The only linebackers he had to coach in his whole career, he didn't have to coach Farrier, he didn't have to coach Harrison, he didn't have to coach none of those guys. The only linebackers he had to coach Jarvis Too Slow Jones, and we still waiting on some of the technique. And he had to coach Shazier that got hurt. He's never had to coach any of the linebackers. It's almost like the cut man from Muhammad Ali. Doctor, he never had to.
Freddie Pacheco.
Yeah, Freddie Pacheco's a doctor, but Ali never got cut. How we know he was a great doctor?
Well, we'll see.
Butler
We'll
never
see.
had to coach one day in his life.
So what did he do?
linebacker
What did he
coach.
do, Smoker Jim?
He just
sat
stood there and
back.
said, "Go get him, Harrison. Go get him."
All I know is when Harrison,
Silverback.
all I know when Harrison got there, he wasn't a starter. He had gotten cut by 5 other teams.
Joey Porter.
Under Butler, what happened? He turned into an All-Pro,
Oh,
a Defensive
my
Player of the Year.
goodness.
That's a fact, Smoker Jim. It's not
Wow.
just garbage.
Wow.
He got cut. Keith Butler turned him into
How
Defensive
did he
Player
do
of the
with
Year.
Joey Porter?
I'm just saying. I'm just
You're
saying.
giving him credit for Silverback.
Hey, there you
Woo.
go. And you said Joey Porter?
Joey Porter was a superstar before Butler got him. What
okay.
Butler do with him?
Okay,
Nothing.
but Harrison.
Go get him.
Lawrence Timmons.
Huh?
Lawrence Timmons. Come on now. He's done his thing. I'm not going to say that right now, Smoker Jim. I think he's going to be fine as a defensive coordinator. He has a lot of talent. The defense is faster. They spend a lot of money on these linebackers. We'll see, Smoky Jim. Hey, LD, what else you got for us, NBA-wise?
Butler's a friend of mine.
Just that if Brady plays against the Steelers, there's no justice in the NFL at all. There's no way he should play against the Steelers. He should get at least a 1 or 2 game suspension.
LD, I'm going to tell you exactly how it's going to be done. Roger Goodell's a snake. Don't forget, this is the same guy that burnt the Spygate tapes. Now, Roger Goodell didn't look into Deflategate. He had Troy Vincent look into it, and Troy Vincent suggested 4-game suspension. He's going to throw that brother under the bus, and he's going to wipe out all those 4 games on Brady, I guarantee you. He's going to throw Troy Vincent under the bus. I wouldn't trust Roger Goodell as far as I can throw him, and he married a relative of Kraft's.
That's an
facts.
investigative
That's
research.
okay. All right. Wow, Smoker Jim breaking some news. I didn't know that one.
He's going to be on Inside
Smoker Jim.
Edition next.
He's getting 2 games, by the way. At least 2 games. There's no way that he comes away scot-free.
We got a snicker bet on that one.
Okay, hey, we got it.
2 exhibition games.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, LD, what else you got?
My last point, the Spurs in the NBA, everyone's saying they're going to be great. I think early in the season they'll be good, but late in the season, their team's going to be too old. That's why they won't win it again.
Well,
They certainly have a lot of miles on them, that's for sure.
you better hope they don't get any injuries. And you know Tony Parker's injured every single year. And last year, Kawhi Leonard was injured a lot of the year as well. And then Ginobili, he was talking about retiring, finally decided to come back. That's the only thing. Injuries and at that age, that's the only thing you have to worry about. with
LD,
those.
all I want to know, please tell me when Curry's mama getting a divorce. I'm in love. I'm in love with the mama. Don't she look good? Don't she look?
Very. She's a star. She's a star. Hey, but LD, what about Cleveland? Cleveland, came up short a little bit. LeBron 2-4, NBA Finals, still one of the greats of all time. Maybe the greatest NBA Finals performance I've ever seen, the way he carried that team. What are your thoughts about Cleveland?
Well, number one, without those injuries, they would have won it this year.
I agree.
But next year, if they sign the right people, I think they're going to win it next year.
Who's the right people, though? What players?
Well, if they don't get Joe Johnson, I hope they get Crawford from the Clippers,
That'd be a good move.
and I hope they also sign Smith again, because they need some outside shooting. But that team's going to be tough, I believe.
Right.
I'm still
They'll
not
get
crazy.
off to a good start.
I'm still not crazy about the coach, though.
Oh. Black.
What about you, LD?
No, he's not NBA ready, but maybe with a 1-year experience, maybe he'll be better next year.
I'm not saying he doesn't know the game, but I think there's more to it than just the game. I think you have to have a good relationship with the players and respect from your players, and I don't know if he has that. Maybe next year he will, I don't know, but I didn't see that this year.
Yeah, one thing, all throughout the playoffs, I don't remember any players coming out questioning play calls of the coach. Now, it wasn't just LeBron, J.R. Smith, and a number of other players.
They were questioning?
Yeah, they said, against Chicago when they drew up a play for LeBron to throw it into J.R. Smith,
Right.
they all looked at him and questioned that call. Yeah. So that was more than just LeBron,
Right.
who
Wasn't just one
said
guy.
he nixed that play.
Right.
Other players were kind of
LD,
thinking that one too.
all I got to say is I'm going on record. LeBron James is the greatest player in NBA history for 3 quarters. He's the Peyton Manning of the NBA. This guy does not show up up in the fourth quarter in overtime and never will. But I love him. 3 quarters, I'll take him over anybody other than Will Chamberlain.
Butler's his good friend. He's ripping on him. He loves LeBron James. Hell, I hope he doesn't like me then.
Right. It's better to be an enemy of Smoking Joe than a friend. Hey, but LeBron James, you say that in the fourth quarter. Look at his shooting percentage. Look at his closing percentage. It's higher than Jordan. It's higher than Kobe. So you can say that all you want.
0 in overtime?
No, that's not 0 in
0 in
overtime.
overtime?
What are you talking about?
The first overtime against Golden
That
State,
was
he got
one
0.
game. I'm talking about as a career. If you look at his stats,
Well, he
he's
got
closed
more
games.
assists. He might got more assists because he ain't taking that last
Smokey
shot.
Jill, we know you're a football scout. Basketball-wise, come on, Smokey Jill. Hey, LD, man. Thanks for the call. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Hey, all right, LD.
Thanks,
See you later,
LD.
Thanks, LD,
You have
for
a
the
good
call.
night.
One thing we didn't get into, man, this DeAndre Jordan situation. 1 minute he's signing with the Dallas Mavericks.
He should sign with the Cowboys.
Yeah, Daz Bryant and everything pulled out all the stops for him out there, and he was all ready to go. And now it looks like he may change his mind before 12 o'clock midnight tonight. Hey, can we run some of those clips? A lot was said, well, he's a dunker. He's a great defensive player, can't shoot free throws. I mean, I
like his
got
attitude,
10-year-olds.
though, too. I like his attitude. I do like his attitude. He brings more to the table than just the dunking, in my opinion.
And well, he's great on D. I mean,
Yeah. Which is an attitude.
Right. I mean, he
That's
goes
what I
all
mean.
out. He does all the dirty work that
Yes.
Blake Griffin doesn't want to do.
Right.
He does it all.
That's what I mean by attitude. I mean, when you play defense, again, that's an attitude. He definitely has it.
Yeah. I mean, he's no limit. And really, I was questioning. I haven't been a millionaire, but to go 80 million when you can get 105 million. Woo! I don't know if there's that much high-fiving and handshakes.
Who offered $80 million? Clippers.
Dallas Mavericks. He would get 4 years, $80 million, and of course,
There isn't
with the
much you're going to
Clippers,
be able to do with 80 and 60. It's the same.
He get 105 with the Clippers.
If he signs with the Clippers, who knows? Mike, what's your thought? I know you're a big Mavericks fan, and I know you had your DeAndre Jordan shirt ready to go. What's your thought about this whole situation?
Well, my biggest thought of the whole thing is that I'd like 105 million, or a whole lot more than I like 80 million.
Right.
So I would reconsider myself, and I'd go with the money. But I guess Jordan makes Mavericks a better team, and
He sure would.
they're not too bad already. They become a contender if he goes there.
How about West? Talking about taking a pay cut.
Wow. $12 million with Indiana. If he would have stayed there, he opted out, and now he's getting 1.5 to ride the bench with the Spurs.
Really?
Championship ring. He said he's played his whole career, never had a chance. Wow, I guess $11 million to go get a ring.
Now, how much could he have made at Cleveland?
More than 1.5 is what I've heard.
I'm surprised he didn't go to Cleveland.
But I mean, I understand. There was an issue with DeAndre Jordan and Chris Paul, and I don't know if you saw. We have one play where Chris Paul was going, and you could see those guys arguing on the court. Can we run that real quick? End of the game against Portland last year, and Portland is they're in the lottery next year. They lost 4 out of their starting 5. Jordan got the rebound. Chris Paul's yelling at him to shoot the ball, and you could see them, visibly upset and arguing on the court afterwards. But I don't know. I mean, I think he is going to make a decision to go back to the Clippers. I think he's one of those guys who strikes me as somebody who thinks he's better than he really is. I mean, I guess Dallas was telling him, hey, we'll build a team around you. And
I don't know if he's a build a team around
you're a
guy.
Shaq, and the Clippers were telling him, hey, you rebound, you block shots, and there's Chris Paul telling him to shoot the ball as only Chris Paul can. I think he was upset that Chris Paul was out riding banana boats with Dwayne Wade and LeBron James instead of, courting him, to come back to the Clippers.
Maybe he don't want him to come back to the Clippers.
Right.
How tall is this guy?
6'10",
6'10", good size.
athletic,
That him on the free throw line?
where he doesn't want to be shaking his head.
Well, who had a chance to go to to Cleveland and turned it down. You said West?
West could he?
West could have gone to Cleveland.
More than 1.5, and he could have dated LeBron's mama.
Oh, man. Of course, Smoker Jim would find a way. Delonte West is not on this team, and he's not coming back. They brought back Mo Williams, but not Delonte West. So I think he's safe to say, her boyfriend is now challenging rappers on the internet. So yeah, I think we're okay on that. Hey, and again, the number to call is 412-231-2288. A lot of things to get to, but we had a chance to cover the high school championship basketball game, which has been
Twins.
The Twins, they look good again.
Greatest team I've ever seen in the City League.
Well, you got to win state to be great. As Kelly Russell used to always tell you.
Next year is a shoe win.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Shenley still is the greatest team that I've seen live and in person. And Greg and Onion both said that when we had them, at the game.
No bias.
But high school's coming up. College football's coming up.
Listen,
what do you think about Pitt?
I got a great announcement. I've been a sports writer long enough. I finally got a Heisman vote this year, so I'm very proud of that to get a Heisman vote. And I'm busy in December, so I already sent my vote in for Seth Russell, quarterback from Baylor. So I already sent my vote in.
That'll be a useless vote. Then. You get your first vote.
I ain't waiting. I'm the first one. He's never played before, and he's going to win the
vote
Heisman.
won't count if you do that.
I'm gonna lose my vote after 1 year.
You better get a vote for real?
A guy that I've never seen. He's never played in a game. I've seen him on 10 plays, and I can say he's the greatest.
He didn't start last year.
He's the greatest. I've seen 10 practice plays, and based on that, I've sent in my Heisman vote already. He's the greatest college player of all time when he gets done. He'll be an NFL Hall of Famer, and he's a white guy. I've never seen a more athletic, better quarterback in my life. 6'3", 230. Don't be surprised if Baylor plays Ohio State in the national championship this year because of Seth Russell.
And he'll save lives during a game. Like he'll call Hike and he'll save somebody's life.
But he couldn't beat a quarterback who was drafted in the 4th round, right?
I'll tell you what, I've never seen, and this is based on 10 practice plays. That's all I need.
You know what though? In baseball, there's a phrase they call these guys national anthem players. And I see guys before the national anthem. Man, they look good. And then once the national anthem hits, I said, damn, I wish he'd have gone back to the summer leagues. So
Remember
practice is one thing.
Write that name down in your notes. Seth Russell.
White guy. I'll just put down white.
He's already got one Heisman vote.
I guess you didn't see Andrew Luck or Cam Newton through the last couple years.
I seen Russell Wilson, and he was my #1 rated quarterback in that draft. I also seen RG3 that I predicted on this show before the draft that would be an NFL bust, and he's an NFL bust, and he taught Polanco how to slide.
Oh. Well, the jury's still out on that, Smoker Jim.
RG3?
He had one great year.
RG3?
Injuries have really hurt his career.
Last 2 years, what has he been?
He's been injured. He's been
a bust, yeah.
He's been injured the last 2 years. So we'll see. Smoker Jim's quick to give up on somebody. Yeah. I also remember telling you Russell Wilson was the steal of that draft.
That's it. You did say that.
I was right along with you.
You want to throw Oliver Luck up in my face or Andrew Luck, whatever his name.
Hey, I'm just saying, Andrew Luck is one of the most athletic quarterbacks to come out.
Yeah, he did real good against New England. He did great against New England. Woo. He really kept that score under 60.
Wait a minute. Talking about
he didn't play any D, but he wasn't filled with deflated balls either.
The best defense is a great offense.
Talking about Heisman Trophy winners and quarterbacks.
Seth Russell.
Tebow. He's on the Philly. He's on the Philly, right?
We'll see. Well,
he got the right color for the coach, so he may make it. He may make it.
Pitt's running back, Shady McCoy, LaShawn McCoy, was just upset about getting traded from Philly. Now he's in no man's land in Buffalo.
Deshaun Jackson said the same thing. Another black guy.
I don't remember him saying that.
He just said it this week. Yeah.
He said it to you when you talked to him on the phone. He said it to you. I don't remember seeing that, Smokey Jim. You got to start recording these conversations that you have with people, so we can also use that, on the show. But what about Pitt? Tyler Boyd had a situation. We this past summer we support him. We gave him an award He's going to bounce back and do some big things this year.
Well, I wrote him a personal letter, and I said, never drink and drive to Jefferson. But
he's going to show out on the field.
Yeah,
good kid.
But he's still not as. I tell you what, the best receiver in the country this year is going to be Robert Foster. I see the spring game. I see the spring game.
There you go with these spring games.
In practice,
you know what the spring game is? It's like the NBA Summer League. It means nothing until you do it in the regular season.
There was a guy years ago. He's a pretty successful trainer now. His name is Iceman John Scully from Connecticut. Then he passed hands and said, "You know why they call him Iceman? Now, why did they call George Gervin Iceman? Because he was cool, right? Cool. Under pressure. Well, they called Scully Iceman because during sparring, he'd beat the hell out of you. He was really good.
Right.
Come fight night, he'd freeze. So they call him Iceman. A lot of these guys during practice, you got to watch.
Good game. I like that. See, Smoker Jim? Quit watching all these spring practices. See a game. Right. See, get some game film. That's what I'm
They're
doing,
cheaper
man.
in practice. That's why it goes to the game. They're cheaper. The games are more expensive.
Hey, let's jump back on the phone lines. Caller, say your name, where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Donna from Homewood.
Hey,
Hi,
Donna.
Hello.
Hi, just wanted to say welcome back. Missed you.
It's been too long.
Yes,
Too
yes.
long.
It has. And Luther, I like your new look.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You know what? The only thing I know about sports is looking at this show because I'm not a sports fan for real. But I do like Tomlin.
All right,
And keep up the good work.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Donna. Thank you for the call.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
the call.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
She did bring up a good point about Tomlin. Now, tough schedule. I guess he signed for another 2 years.
Oh, did he?
Well, no. Well, is he signed past this year, right?
Yeah, he's signed a contract.
Well, now, if they struggle this year, is he in trouble?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. He's one thing I can give him credit for. He's starting to grow into the job. He did for the first 7 years he did nothing, but now he's starting to do more, taking over more to draft, and look for him this year to assist. Jethro in the defensive assignments. He's taking over. He's doing more of the coaching now. So, and I tell you what, this particular draft was a better draft, and it was because Mike Tomlin did a lot of the grocery shopping in this draft. So I give him credit for that.
You think he'll get along better with this defensive coordinator than he did LeBeau?
Well, he loved LeBeau. Dick LeBeau loved him. But
as far as on the field,
well, I think if Mike Tomlin goes past midseason without firing Keith Butler, it ought to be an investigation, really. Keith Butler, if Coach Tomlin does get fired, it's because of Keith Butler. Yeah, inability he's not quick with it. And you got to be quick on, as a defensive coordinator, you got to make some changes. I put Keith Butler in the box and not on the sideline, and I stick a sock in his mouth, and then I just go there and just start playing.
Tell us how you really feel.
Is he one of your good friends too?
I mean, he's a good friend of mine. He's a great linebacker for Seattle, and the nicest guy, one of the nicest guys I ever met. But he is no defensive coordinator, and I got to say that. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll see, Smoker Jim. Unlike you, I'm willing to let the season play out before I say he's a bum, before I say he can't coach. I think he's going to do well. Other teams are looking at him. Players have talked highly about him. So, we'll see. I think he'll do fine. He has a lot of talent to work with. So we'll see. What about Pitt's chances this year, Mike? What do you think? New coach.
Tyler Boyd. Who knows what's going to happen with him? I don't know. I don't like their chances as far as winning the conference or even their side of the conference. I like Connor, nice running back, but I don't think that they have enough to deal with the rest of the ACC.
Okay.
I think again we're probably looking at Florida State again there.
If they can keep their quarterbacks from attacking women and whatnot. So we'll see. But they did just have the transfer from Notre Dame. So
I think they'll be better this year. I think
Pitt.
Pitt.
Oh, okay.
I think Pitt will be a little bit better, and like Mike said, I like Connor a lot. I think he has a chance to be a big time back. Again, winning I don't think they're going to win the ACC, but I think they'll be better. But they can't afford to lose any of those early games against Youngstown. You can't, because that just deflates you. Yeah. That just deflates you, and that looks bad.
I think they'll get 7, 7, 8 wins. I could see that possibly. 6, 7.
I was thinking 6.
You know, the quarterback, I still think they need a little help at the quarterback position, but he had a full year, so hopefully it'll be a little
With Connor
better.
having a big season, I think that'll help.
Yeah.
I think
Connor and Boyd take a lot of pressure off.
Pitt has a better chance of selling out the River Hounds 3,000 seat stadium than they have of winning 8 games. Listen, the best team in college football that I've seen in the last 10 years, I got to give Urban Meyer credit, who had a heart attack to get his way out of Florida. But that Ohio State
had a heart attack
that
on
Ohio
purpose,
State
on
team
purpose.
is dominant. You know, and I tell you what, if anybody can beat Baylor, it's that Ohio State team. Pitt is a couple years away, you know, a couple recruiting classes. Listen, you cannot bring back 100 All-Americans and barely sell out the River Hounds 3,000-seat stadium. I like Penn State. Yeah, I think Penn State's going to do well. I like West Virginia because Russell Shell just had his son, and he got a lot to play for. But I tell you what, the University of Pittsburgh, I love corners. I love Tyler Boyd. You got 2 first-round draft choices there. But I tell you what, the ACC, they're not going to see 8 wins, I don't think.
Who's better at practice, Pitt or Penn State?
West Virginia. Hey,
Alabama.
That's good to hear. So Russell Shell's going to lock down that starting job this year,
Russell
you think?
Shell's going to run wild. He wants to be a role model for his son. He got 2 daughters now. He got a son. And I tell you what, he is motivated. He's down under 220 pounds right now.
Okay.
He's fast. They're going to revolve the offense around him if he stays healthy. And we always say that opportunities never lost is passed on to somebody else. If it wasn't for Russell Shell leaving and not being allowed to come back, James Conner would be an outside linebacker right now. You never hear from him. Now James Conner, one of the most dominant running backs. He wasn't even recruited to play running back. Now he's one of the most dominant running backs in college football.
He was going to get some time at running back.
He was a good defensive player.
He was going to get some time at running back.
What? Only time he was what? When he intercepted a pass or something? That's only how he was a defensive player.
He's too good as a running back to not get any time. He would have got some time at running back. But I wish Russell Shell all the best. We've had him on the show. Went through some
gentleman.
Yeah, went through some tough times.
On the show too.
Yeah. I think both of those guys can, have great years this year and maybe compete at the next level. Your guy, who you said is going to be the top receiver, we're still waiting for him to touch the field.
He's going to be the best receiver in
I
Alabama
still-
history. And they had first-round draft choices.
Chill, just come on, Julio Jones.
Yeah,
come on.
that's who he reminds me
Cooper.
of. He reminds me of both of those guys.
Okay, but those guys are
combination.
were on the field. So we'll see if he gets on the field this year.
He's
at
gonna
Smoky
blow it
Joe.
up, get his
I hope so.
autograph, blow it
As I
up.
said before, I wanted him to go to Pitt. Him and Tyler Boyd.
What, to play in front of 15,000 when he can play in
Him
front
and
of
Tyler
100,000?
Boyd would have been unstoppable. They both would have been possibly first-round picks coming out this year.
You think when Alabama hurt him?
Oh yeah, because he hasn't seen the field yet. We'll see. We'll see if he does. But Alabama just keeps getting guys. But he,
He's a starter now.
Okay, we'll see. People have been saying that the last couple years. We'll see if he does continue being on the bench or if he finally sees the field. I hope he sees the field because he was a great talent, and I hope he doesn't go the way of some of these other guys who left the area going down south and never saw the field.
Tyler Boyd better watch out for Paul Zeiss's kid may sneak up in there.
All right. Well, we'll see on that. Only a few minutes left. Want to get some final thoughts. The St. Louis series, Claudio, what do you think?
Well, every game is important because you take them for granted now. Then in September, when you're 2 games out, these games show up big. I think they'll get 2 out of 3 against St. Louis. I think they will. But much more importantly, our Carnegie Mellon University team won our conference championship for the first time. I had a very special team, and we had a very special season. And so I wanted to throw that in.
Okay, yeah.
I had to throw that in.
Definitely, we definitely have to get out there. You have a big tournament coming up in
September.
September.
I always wanted to do something to honor my parents. As anybody who reads anything about me, I always mention my parents. I had the best parents ever, and we're going to have a 3-game series against CCAC boys September 12th and 13th. We're going to name it after my parents, the Olindo and Ida Rosano Baseball Classic, and hopefully we'll win it and bring a trophy home.
Okay,
Is that
sounds
in
good.
Monroeville?
Yes.
I'll be there.
Yes.
We'll be there.
Yeah, definitely. Mike, final thoughts?
Well, I think that the Pirates have a decent chance against St. Louis also. Maybe 3 out of 4.
Are they playing 4?
4 playing 4.
Oh, my fault. Okay.
I think they have a decent chance against St. Louis because their pitching. The pitching is going to be right in the rotation where they get their top 3 players, their top 3 pitchers will pitch against them. And I think St. Louis is a little bit hurt now. So I think they have a decent chance.
That's the thing about St. Louis. I mean, you know, they've been injured pretty much all year.
And they'll find somebody.
And they still find somebody. I mean,
And
that
they got a few guys
organization's
like
top to
Lynn who
bottom.
isn't having a season that he's going to have. So they haven't hit their peak yet either.
Right.
So it'll be interesting.
I think they can split this series. You know, win 2. You know, we'll see.
I think Polanco will find a way to run into a wall or slip when trying to catch a ball, and I think that 1 and 3. I think St. Louis will win.
Why are you so hard on Polanco?
I love him. He's one of my favorite, but he runs into the wall, fakes an injury, he slips,
Fakes an injury.
he slides when the ball's right there. I mean,
This
he's
is
making
his
some
second
mistakes.
year.
The
This
glove is not on properly.
This is his second year.
His
He's having
pants are
natural
too
growing
long.
pains.
He's tripping over his pants.
Much like Sterling Marte, not everybody can come in like a Andrew
He
McCutcheon
got
and
to
just
quit
be
listening
great
to
from the beginning.
He got to quit listening to guns.
Not everybody can come up. He's going to be. He's
I
going
love
to do
him.
well.
I love him.
You know.
He's a great athlete. He's got some holes in his swing, but he's going to be fine.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
hopefully that game winner hit yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, he'll get him back on the right track.
Yeah.
Only batting about 230. The power numbers aren't there.
The one that I still say can be, I still say he can be 270 hit. Yeah.
Me too.
I still think he can do something. I think Alvarez can still be better than what he is. I mean, it's been the same thing for the past, 5 years.
Alvarez
And unfortunately,
is
it's
going to
probably
have success somewhere
Yes,
else.
yeah.
You know, it's
No
going to be
question.
another one. Wow, we had him here. We
Like
could have matched
Bautista,
him
yes.
up with, you know.
that might be the
McCutcheon.
trade. I don't know if that's the thing they're talking about with Votto.
That's what I think. So I mean, I wish him all the best, but it's just not working for him here. You know.
Luther's right. He'll go somewhere else and he'll improve.
I think,
vastly.
And that's why I
he's gotta-
think they need to make a trade now to try to get somebody else in. You know, maybe somebody a little more seasoned.
There was a swing he had a couple weeks ago against Chapman. He made the last out of the game. A line drive right back at Chapman. He made the final out. I would have froze that picture and said, "This is where we want you to
go.
swing every time, bro."
Hey, I want to thank all the calls. Thank everybody for watching. Check us out on the website, scsportsworld.com.
Good to be
Smoking
back.
Jim, Claudio, Mike, I'm Luther. Check us out next time. Peace.